Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. As I'm recording this, we're coming off a losing Tuesday night. Louisiana Tech, man. They had that game. They outgained them. Won the time of possession battle. Fumbled it twice in the second half. Just fumbled the game away. Whatever. Midweek Conference USA. Let's shake it off. I'm recording this before the Wednesday night game, so hopefully we bounce back and had a nice Wednesday. In this video, we're talking Thursday night's games. We got two FBS games, one ACC, and one Sun Belt. So let's get it started.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got Syracuse on the road at Virginia Tech here. Hokies laying 3 points at home, so they're favored by 3, which is up from 2.5. I think there still might be some 2.5s out there. Total sitting at 47. So public's all over Syracuse heavy. Over 80% of the tickets are in on Cuse. Money a little closer to even, so there's definitely a good amount of sharp action out there on Virginia Tech. I'm thinking the Sharps probably hammered Vatek at that 2.5 number, though. So let's break these two teams down based on what we've seen so far this season, and we're dealing with some serious deja vu when it comes to this Syracuse team. Last year, started off 6-0, then they played Clemson, lost, and proceeded to lose 5 straight games. This year, started off 4-0, then they played Clemson, lost, and now they've lost 3 straight games. Now, let's be fair, they've played Clemson, North Carolina, and Florida State. These aren't games that they're necessarily expected to win, so I'm not going to crush them for losing, but it's more the way that they lost that's important to take note of here. They're not just getting beat, they're getting absolutely abused. They've been outscored 112-24, 1,568 total yards to 763, 7 turnovers to 2. Now, obviously, even after those losses, the first reaction to seeing this line is, what? How is Virginia Tech favored in this game? But I don't think people realize that the Hokies have been playing good football recently. Not only has Virginia Tech won 2 of their last 3, but they've been good at home in Blacksburg all year. They're 3-1 at home on the season. Their only loss came to Purdue, and they were in that game all the way to the end. Their other 3 home games were blowout wins. 17 points over Wake Forest, 17 points over Pitt. These are 3-score conference wins here. And this might not be the best matchup for Syracuse, because one thing Virginia Tech does well is defend the run. They're 56 overall defensively according to Beta Rank, but they're 26th in effective rush. And they've seen some decent rushing attacks too. Now, the 2 best rushing attacks they've seen are Florida State and Rutgers, and they got smoked on the ground in both those games. Those teams averaged over 7 yards per carry on Virginia Tech. But not only were those the 2 strongest rushing attacks they've seen all year, but also both those games were on the road. We've seen the Hokies play much better football at home. Syracuse can definitely run the ball. I mean, between Garrett Schrader and LaQuint Allen, it's not the easiest rushing attack to stop. Their offense is just 68th overall, but they're 47th in effective rush. But can we really trust this offense right now? Syracuse hasn't been able to move the ball in 3 weeks. Now, in the Florida State and Clemson games, all right, let's give them a pass. I mean, those are 2 elite defenses, but they played North Carolina in there. UNC's run defense isn't even good. Syracuse was held to 28 carries, just 92 yards on the ground, 3.3 yards per carry. Virginia Tech's run defense is better than North Carolina's analytically right now. I don't know how we can count on Syracuse to move the ball. Now, Virginia Tech has been vulnerable to the pass, so maybe Garrett Schrader can put together a good game throwing the ball. But again, can we trust Garrett Schrader right now? First of all, he's banged up. He's dealing with an injury. He almost didn't even play a couple weeks back. So he hasn't been 100%, but he's been bad. I mean, I know Clemson and Florida State, like I said, elite defenses. On the road to North Carolina, it's a tough stretch of schedule, but he's done nothing through the air. Just 133 pass yards per game, a 104 passer rating. So yeah, Virginia Tech's defense may be vulnerable to the pass, and maybe it is a nice bounce back spot for Garrett Schrader, but I don't know if I could put my money on this guy right now to go on the road and make plays with his arm. I don't know if I could trust it. And on the other side, this kid Kyron Drones has been pretty good, man. He started 5 games this year, 3 on the road and 2 at home. Both the home games, he was excellent, averaging over 290 pass yards per game, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He's also averaging over 65 rush yards per game as well. This kid can play. And you might look at those 2 games where he went off and be like, oh, well, who cares? He went off against Wake Forest and Pittsburgh. Both Wake Forest and Pittsburgh have higher rated defenses than Syracuse this year. So I don't think there's any reason to doubt this kid to go out there and have another great game at home, which is why I am on the Hokies here. I'm going to take Virginia Tech. Obviously, I want to get a 2.5. I haven't bet it yet. If I get stuck with nothing but 3s, I may end up passing, but definitely not taking Syracuse. It'll be Virginia Tech minus 2.5 next game. Let's talk some Sun Belt football. We got Georgia State at Georgia Southern. Gasso laying 1.5 points here at home. Total sitting at 63. Public's definitely all over the Panthers in this one. Slime was at 2.5, but it's been bet down to Georgia Southern minus 1.5. So we'll start with some matchup history. Georgia State has actually taken 3 in a row. Got to go back to 2019 to find the last time Georgia Southern beat these guys. No blowouts, though. All 3 of those games were one-score games. So this game's actually huge. Remember, James Madison's got a postseason ban for 1 more year. So the winner of this game is going to be sitting pretty as far as playing in the Sun Belt Championship game. So let's match these 2 teams up on the field. Georgia Southern's been excellent at home this year. The fact that they get to play this one at home is huge. They're a perfect 4-0 at home this year, and they're averaging almost 40 points per game. Actually, nobody's come within single-digit points of Georgia Southern at home so far this season. I know not everyone watches Sun Belt football, myself included. I don't watch a ton of it. So if you're unfamiliar with Georgia Southern, they throw the ball a lot. They brought in Davis Brin from the transfer portal. You probably remember him from Tulsa last couple years. This season, they've thrown the ball in 64.56% of their offensive snaps. That's the 3rd most in the FBS. This is a pass-first offense all the way. Georgia Southern averages over 326 pass yards per game, which is 8th most in the FBS. So obviously, first place we need to look, can Georgia State defend the pass? And the answer is kinda. They're 71st in opponent passer rating, 64th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 100th in effective pass. Look at the week 4 matchup in particular, though. It was another road game. Georgia State goes on the road to Coastal Carolina, and we know that's a passing offense. Grayson McCall is a very talented quarterback. They held him down. He threw for 295 yards and a touchdown, but he dropped back to pass 42 times. Just a 108 passer rating. They did struggle a bit in the Troy game. The reason I'm bringing that one up is that's the only other passing offense they've seen so far this year. They got beat 28-7 on their home field. Thing is, they didn't exactly get cooked through the air, though. Their offense did nothing, and they turned the ball over 3 times. That's how they lost. So it's tough to gauge. We don't have a huge sample size here, but I think there's enough data to suggest Georgia State is going to give Davis Brin and the Georgia Southern passing attack problems in this one. And we have to be fair. We mentioned how Georgia Southern is a perfect 4-0 at home so far this season. Well, Georgia State on the road, also perfect. 3-0, averaging over 30 points a game, and there's a couple good road wins in there. Coastal, Louisiana, these are good road wins. Georgia State offensively is almost the exact opposite of Georgia Southern. I mean, this is run first all the way. They run the ball on 57.45% of their snaps so far this season, 21st most in the FBS. So this is a run first offense. So how is Georgia Southern at defending the run? They've been bad. That's the weakness of their defense. Gasso 69th overall defensively, so that's solid, but they're 103rd in effective rush. The last time Georgia Southern saw a decent rushing attack was James Madison. They got beat 41-13. Now, James Madison is obviously better than Georgia State, but don't sleep on the Panthers' run game. Georgia State's 47th in rushing yards per game, 58th in yards per attempt, 28th in effective rush. This is a solid run game here. In my opinion, based on what we've seen so far this year, based on the body of work, strength of schedule, I think Georgia State has shown us that they're the better team here. I trust them moving the ball on the ground more than I trust Georgia Southern's passing attack. So I'm going to roll with the Panthers. Like I said earlier, it's definitely the heavy public side, but look, I don't watch a ton of Sun Belt football. This won't be a huge bet, but I feel this is the right side to be on, so give me Georgia State plus 1.5. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, if you want to join our Discord, anything like that, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage. College football week 9. Let's have ourselves a nice Thursday. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.